Welcome to the official YouTube channel for the Colin Cowherd podcast. Go on, hit that subscribe button if you're new so you don't miss any of our great football content this season.
Well, the modern day quarterback is no longer, we've been talking about this forever, is the group of the Eli's and the Phillip Rivers and the Peyton
Yep.
Mannings. It is the Jackson Darts, it's the Drake Mays, and it's led by the Mahomes, Lamars. I mean, even Joe Burrow can move, and obviously Josh Allen. So you're just not getting Jared Goff coming into the NFL anymore. I mean, if you can't move, these teams aren't going to be that interested in you in college, let alone in the pros. The best players are not. I wouldn't even say Lamar's an outlier. When I say dual threat, I just mean mobility. If you don't have mobility, Mac Jones is kind of got some mobility, and he's on the low end, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say average mobility is like Baker Mayfield relative, and even he feels like lost a little weight a little quicker. But I mean, Drake is what, 6'4", 230? I mean, he's cut from the Herbert cloth. I mean, it's ideally what you would want. And we might look back and go, God, he went third overall.
Okay, let's wrap it with this. James Franklin got fired. 3-3 record. They won 13 games last year, but they had lost 3 close games in a row. You may remember last year, even though they ended up number 5 in the country, they barely beat Bowling Green. They won several close games. They lost to Notre Dame at the end in a close loss, but they won several close games last year. This year they're losing all their close games, but it's who they're losing to. You can't lose to Northwestern. You can't lose. You can lose to Oregon, although at home it's rough, but you can't lose to UCLA. UCLA is not a top 40 team, although they have new coaches now, and that it looks like the head coach that left may have been getting in the way of a pretty good staff beneath him. But he's only 53, so somebody's going to hire him. The danger in doing this, because he wasn't getting blown out, he was losing close games. The danger in doing this is, what if the interim comes in, wins 5 of the next 6 weeks, and then you hire the interim because the players go into the AD's office, the players go on social media, the players are telling you they'll transfer if you don't hire the interim coach, they'll go into the portal. And in small towns, like places like Penn State, they've often bowed to that. You see this all the time, John. The hit rate, look at Michigan right now, on giving the popular assistant the job, it's not very good historically. It's poor. It's about a 20% hit rate. So my take is, okay, now you've put yourself, Antonio Pierce got his job that way. The popular substitute teacher. I wouldn't have fired him, would you?
I think you had to. I think it's the first time since they've been running the numbers in 30 plus years that a team has lost to back-to-back teams being a 20 plus point favorite. I mean, the team quit on them, right? They approached the Oregon game like the Super Bowl. You know what's pretty crazy is we talk about this a lot with young quarterbacks. They basically got 2 years now to show. In college football, these buyouts, which I thought were going to be something impossible to overcome, I think there's so much money float. Didn't the Big Ten just get a $2 billion investment from
Well,
venture capital or
did
something?
you see online they are speculating that Adidas bought out James Franklin?
Who starts next year, because I Googled it immediately, 10 years, $300 million. So if I'm Adidas and I'm in for 10 years, $300 million, right, for Penn State athletics, obviously that's Penn State football and everything else gets to piggyback off that. I need them to be really good. And I'm kind of a junkie, so I just YouTubed last night some Penn State like local podcasts. They have been losing a couple massive recruits the last couple weeks. A lot of people think James Franklin, especially after the UCLA game, borderline just tapped out. It doesn't matter because he's
Yeah.
got 50 million even if he's fired. So they almost didn't have a choice. This is not the AD that gave him that big extension. That was Sandy Barber, former Cal AD, who's just. I mean, Jimmy Sexton. Has there ever been a negotiation mismatch quite like Jimmy Sexton? You can say the ADs, but the ADs all answer to the presidents and the provosts
Right.
and it's academia versus Jimmy Sexton, and he is destroying them. It has
Yeah.
been all these guys getting fired, and when Mike Norvell gets fired, and when the dude at Florida, they're all his clients. He's owning them, and I just think James Franklin, they didn't have a choice. I also think James Franklin, like, he's going to like all of a sudden be the Florida State head coach or the Auburn head coach. He is by far one of the best candidates out there. I have no problem doing it. I also just wonder. This is not 2015 where you go Kurt Signetti 100% leaving Indiana. His team's
I
6
don't think he
0.
leaves Indiana.
Well, they got a bunch of money. He's making $8 million a year. He clearly can buy players. So it's like he would have had to leave 10, 7, 8 pre-NIL. Does he need to now?
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
he does. No, I
So
mean, also, Indiana's his baby. I mean, it's not Joe Paterno, Penn State. It's his baby. It's a basketball school. If I'm Kurt Signetti, $8 million. By the way, they are so appreciative. Part of college football is being appreciated. Like Oregon's always good, but people were frustrated with Mario Cristobal. Couldn't win big road games. Oregon fans don't expect you to win national titles, but you got to get up to 10 wins because they know Phil Knight's money and they have previous success doing that.
can't
But
lose
you
to
don't have to
Utah.
be as, yeah, that's right. That's right. And so Penn State, I do think Penn State kind of views themselves at a level they're not quite. It's rural. It's not the easiest place to recruit. It's not nearly as glamorous as Columbus or Ann Arbor or USC in Los Angeles. It's not as cool as Oregon. You lose cell phone coverage out there by the Nittany Lion Inn. It's so, and I'm not knocking it, but it's like James Franklin. I don't think Penn State's a top 7 program, and I think they're losing. I think Oregon is. I think Michigan is. I think Ohio State is. I think Notre Dame is. Those are top 7, 8, 9 programs. I think Penn State's on the outside of that. They view themselves as that. And I think you're probably right. I think he probably tapped out. And also, I think 10 to 12 years coaching these powerhouses, if you don't win a national championship, I mean, God, Calipari just won at Kentucky, and they ran him out. It's hard. Mark Few told me this when he was at Gonzaga. He goes, I can recruit nothing but 3-star guys if I wanted to. He goes, I could win at UCLA at the level I'm winning at Gonzaga, but I would get crushed if I was recruiting only 3-star guys. Like, you go to these blue blood programs, people follow that. Fans are on your ass. So Kurt Signetti, nobody's sitting around going, get 5-star guys. It's his baby. Also, when you're at Indiana, I mean, I think the portal's changed everything, John. I think Indiana looks the part.
Well, he wouldn't even have been able to do what he's doing if it wasn't for the portal, because he landed this Mendoza kid from Cal. He would have had to just recruit either a junior college quarterback or recruit a kid. You literally couldn't have done this 5 years ago. Now you can turn. This is why Belichick, if he does return, is going to be heavily under the microscope. You can turn this thing around immediately.
Yeah.
Now, you don't. He's doing it at like the highest level. He's going to go to the playoffs probably back-to-back years. But you could win 8, 9 games. You can go from 2 to 3 wins to 8, 9 wins really fast. And that wasn't possible, I think, unless you were at like Ohio State or something, ever at one of these random schools. But I think Penn State goes, we were paying, obviously, the head coach. They were paying their coordinators. Their defensive coordinator, highest paid coordinator in the league. Their offensive coordinator, the guy from Kansas, Kolnecki, makes a ton. Their roster, they had a bunch of guys return. You're cutting. This is why I was kind of, give him credit. Arch Manning played his best game by far on Saturday against Oklahoma. Stats don't reflect it. He was good relative to the way he'd been playing. But I was like, these boosters and whoever's paying all this money is not going to keep the money flowing if you do not win. You will get cut off. Now, I actually kind of believe the Adidas thing. Even if you were at USC or Notre Dame, who could just find $50 million? Like, even if you got 5 people, that means $10 million each. I mean, unless they're Bezos or whatever, you could be worth a couple $100 million. $5 million or $10 million. We're talking. That's liquid cash. I mean, this is a lot of money we're talking, and that's just for the head coach. That's not going to count the staff when you blow them out. All the NIL money you're paying the players. This is a lot more complicated now with the revenue streams that you need to fund football. Like, you know, all these basketball coaches. Basketball is actually much easier to operate economically, because I just need, 5 or 6 million if I want to land 3 or 4 good guys. And then I can get some transfer portal guys from, mid-major schools that cost. But my roster, I'm only going to play 7, 8 guys. In college football, it's like I got multiple running backs. I got multiple wide receivers. I need some D linemen. I also got to pay some of these, especially at a place like Penn State. Like, your high school recruits cost money now, let alone the returners. So, and then let alone the coaches. Has there ever been a business? I mean, obviously, like being a CEO on Wall Street, but these guys, Jimbo Fisher, getting paid $77 million not to work. They say the American dream.
Wow.
I mean, how many human beings have ever been these guys? I mean, at the end of the day, their job, they have a whistle around their neck. I mean, what an incredible time to be a football coach right now.
Yeah, James Franklin's a good-looking guy with high energy. I think he'll go into broadcasting and probably be a great fit. He's kind of a magnetic guy. Again, I understand firing him. I think it's really dangerous to fire a coach this early. They've got some better personnel than about 90% of the teams that are playing. Good luck if they go on a winning streak because the interim coach is the substitute teacher. They're the most popular. Also, let's throw this in. USC hammered Michigan 31-13. Didn't feel that close. The truth was USC played physical football. I don't know if Michigan has the right coach. Underwood and Marsh, that receiver, are freaking great talents. But USC actually stepped up. Now, they're an 8.5-point dog at Notre Dame next week, and I don't think they can beat Notre Dame. I don't think it's a great matchup. Notre Dame's quarterback's really good. I think he'll just pick them apart. They did get their best player back on the back end of their defense, Kamari Ramsey. So I don't think USC is going to beat Notre Dame or Oregon on the road. I don't think they're good enough to do that. But I thought it was a pretty substantial win because the knock has been Lincoln Riley's teams are soft. And I thought in the trenches, I mean, God, with King Miller, a walk-on freshman running back, huge holes. I thought it was the
he looked like Doddle today. I mean, he was killing him.
I think it meant something to Lincoln Riley. It was a very, I mean, it looked like old USC. The lights, the crowd. You saw it just looked big. The night stuff. But I thought it was big I said this on Friday. This was not just a typical USC game. They had to win. I thought they would win. I didn't think it would be that dominating. What was your takeaway?
I looked at the board early Saturday morning, and I thought, I don't think there's any individual head coach. It turned out it was Franklin, but I assumed they would win that game, that had more pressure on him yesterday than Lincoln Riley. I thought it was like a fork in the road moment for his program. He can't, because he would have been 0-2. He just would have lost to Illinois and lost to Michigan. And like you said, they got hard games coming up. It's like you got to be able to beat. This is not Jim Harbaugh, J.J. McCarthy in the league. You got to beat Sharon Moore and a rookie quarterback or freshman quarterback. And not only beat him, like you said, 31-13, that felt like 45-7.
It wasn't.
Threw the pick in the red zone at the end of the first half.
Jaden Mayava. Yeah.
They look offensively for the first time, and it was I've watched, I would say, 50 to 75% of some of their games. I hadn't watched start to finish every snap. That felt a little Oklahoma-y offensively. I mean, that receiver they have, Lemon, the number 6, is elite. I mean, he is looks like, I don't know, Amon-Ra St. Brown or something. I mean, he's a dominant player. Their running game was awesome, and that was a huge part of Lincoln Riley's thing back with Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray and running the ball. So if you can run the ball and you got NFL wide receivers, he can
They were down to their third running back. That's what's impressive. That's a walk-on. They didn't have Jordan. They didn't have Sanders. They didn't have their top 2 running backs. Now they used Jackson, who was a third or a fourth stringer. He actually, I thought, as a freshman last year, he's kind of a different body composition. He's a big, strong kid. I wish they'd play him more, but they didn't have their stars in the backfield, and they're a run-first team.
I give them a fighting chance against Notre Dame. Obviously they have no chance to win a lower scoring, tough it out game. They would have to get a little bit of a shootout and try to win 30-25 or something. But I was blown away by the efficiency on their offense. Now, Wink's kind of a feast or famine defensive coordinator. Yeah. I mean, he's blitzing every single play. But I thought Lincoln, that was the moment where Lincoln versus Wink Martindale looked like JV versus varsity. That was a pretty special offensive performance.
I will say this.
Your whole thing about the Big Ten and the conference realignment, it's hard to watch that game and not go, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm a Pac-12 guy, but, I'm sorry, watching Oregon, Penn State, and watching USC, Michigan, folks, it's worth it. I mean, it's just worth it. It's nothing against Cal, against Arizona, but it was college football is regional to begin with. Pac-12 felt super regional. And it was just like, I was done with it. I had told friends 5 years ago, USC wants to get out of the conference. I mean, there were companies, I don't even know if it was Amazon or some company went to USC and offered to just pay for their games. I know Fox was interested years ago in doing it because they were getting frustrated with the Pac-12 and the leadership at the time. So
like NBC does for Notre Dame, just give them like an
yeah,
exclusive deal.
yeah. I mean, I don't want to speak, because I don't have all the information. But I went to Larry Jones, a former exec, one time at Fox, and I said, "Have you ever considered just for the night programming on Saturday night, just buy USC's games?" And he wouldn't tell me if he was doing it or not. He smiled, kind of a sly smile. So I thought, hey, he's a smart guy. I know Larry very well. But it's one of those things. They were complaining for years. Like, why are we treated no better than Washington State and Oregon State? What are we doing here? Like, we're the LA market. We don't get treated. I mean, Alabama and Saban run the SEC, and there's other, LSU and Georgia and Tennessee and Florida. There's big boy football everywhere. So I understand people that love tradition. They're outraged about the Live Tour. I get it. I'm not that guy, but it's like baseball. I'm sorry, but the Mariners-Tigers played 15, and the game would have been 7 hours years ago. But with the pitch clock, you can sit and watch 15 innings of baseball, and it's pretty compelling. It moves pretty quickly. So I don't know. I just thought it was a huge win. Here's the thing about Lincoln Riley. Two things. They beat LSU, Texas A&M last year, and should have beaten Penn State. And now they've beaten Michigan. So, he's beating some of the big teams. You can say, well, LSU and Texas A&M. Listen, they're on the schedule. They're well-funded programs. I don't think they can win over Oregon or at Autzen. Oregon's a bad matchup. I don't think Notre Dame. Teams with great quarterbacks will give them trouble. You can pick them apart. But the second thing about him is you can't watch USC football and not see the coaching. Jaden Mayava was at UNLV. I watched Jaden Mayava play because I used to go to every UNLV football game when I was a sportscaster in Vegas, so I kind of follow it. Jaden Mayava was not an NFL prospect. I saw a mock draft today. They have him going in the first. That's a product of Lincoln Riley. That kid was so reckless and sloppy last year. That pick he had against Michigan was his first really bad pick of the year. He did that regularly last year. He had a couple of them against Notre Dame. So when you watch USC's offense, you don't have to like their toughness or their culture. Lincoln Riley's a really smart offensive coach. They squeeze every ounce out of their talent. They don't have a lot of 5-star guys, John. Lemon's a really high-end receiver. They got a lot of 3-star, 4-star guys. The left tackle they flipped from Notre Dame, but this is not Justin Tunu, the right tackle, Raymond, the left guard. These are 3-star recruits. They're not getting a lot of love. So the guy can coach. Can he build a culture? I don't know.
I'd say this: he wins this weekend, you can drop the Jim Mora playoffs because they'd have a good shot. I mean, they would start feeling like a serious playoff team.